Hey, Patty, you know what time it is?
I do.
It's time for another Midweek Update. Welcome back, everyone. If you're new here, you'd maybe just stumbled across this channel. This is our sister channel to our main channel, Travels with Delaney, and we do these weekly updates to let people know how boring our lives actually are.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's what that is. You never know, somebody might stumble upon. And for those of you who come here every week for these, thank you so much. We appreciate it. And yeah. So anyway, Patty, since last week, we did a few things. Plus, we have a ton of questions. Remember last week we asked people to give us questions. So we're going to keep the update short and try to get to all those questions. And hopefully I didn't miss any when I was going back through and grabbing them. So last weekend, we ended up getting the airbags on Friday.
Yep, put on Montana.
Yes. So took a little longer than expected. Yeah. Not because there was an issue, just because they were really backed up. We had an 8 a.m. appointment. I think we finally picked up the truck at what, like 2:30?
2:30 or 3 o'clock.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. They work great, and there's a question coming up about that, but I won't get into it.
Perfect.
So then we immediately headed out, went over to Van Buren State Park over in Ohio and met the Milinarskis.
Yeah.
And there's a whole video on this channel that I just posted a couple days ago. You can check it out. We had a good time. I actually really like going over there.
I do too.
It's a small campground, which I think is great because they're fairly well spaced out. Small campground. You're near Findlay, Ohio, which has like lots of restaurants.
It's such a cute downtown.
And they just happen to have the car show going. And then we found out we were actually within 30 minutes of Grand Rapids, which is a canal town where we camped with the Fitches. Yeah. So there's just a lot over there, and it's only about a 2-hour drive for us. So it's easy to get to. It's all toll road and
not bad
interstate.
At all. Yeah.
So
and we had good weather.
Yeah, we really did. We had a little light rain,
but it didn't affect what we were doing.
Didn't affect anything we were doing.
Humidity, a little bit, but not like it is today.
And then Patty started back on Monday.
I did. Staff days, Monday and today, which is the Tuesday.
Yeah, we're actually recording a day early because tomorrow, which will be past when you actually watch us.
The first day the students come.
So I told Patty, I'm like, maybe you'd rather record on Tuesday this week. Because she's probably going to be more tired after having the kiddos all day for the first time.
Yeah, so if you're a teacher out there, you know the beginning of the school year, and used to be at my school, it was just one day, and then the students came, and then a few years ago it became 2, because there's always so many meetings, so many things you need to figure out about students, like IEPs and all that stuff, and you want to make sure you know some things before the kids actually get there, like medical concerns. That's important. So luckily my school system does too. The first night was actually, my day was really long because my night was long because we had open house. And that's when the parents and students that want to come in and meet you and work on their locker and all that stuff. So we are back with, right now, no masks. That's going to be, I'm sure, a thing they watch here in Indiana. But right now we're starting with no mask unless you choose. That's your choice. Everything is a go. Kids have lockers. Kids are transitioning. Kids are going to cafeterias. Kids are going to PE. Kids are going on field trips. Everything is a go. So hopefully it'll stay that way. I'm just glad I don't have to go from room to room to room like last year like a stewardess. So, and so today was just another day to finish up and do some more training, and I'm ready for a nap. So, yeah.
And if you've been following our Instagram account, you know that Tall Pine Lodge has been getting a little bit of a makeover. They actually finished up with most of the logs, stain, the sealant's on. Started doing the deck. The deck is fully stained. And today they installed the post. And now we're just waiting on the railings. They have to be cut now that they have the exact size. So hopefully next week we're going to be finished up.
It's looking great.
We even added a couple extra projects today. We did a little expansion on the deck, just small for the grill, because with the new railings, the grill wasn't going to fit. So we just expanded it out for us, which will give us a little more room. That was tight anyway.
And it'll fit your smoker.
And it may fit my smoker too.
That'd be great.
And then tomorrow we have somebody coming to put up some gutters and eaves on the garage, where before the water would just roll off the metal roof in the winter, and it was like a skating rink out there.
It would be so slippery.
Not sure why they never added that.
I don't know. But it's crazy. So that'll be good.
Yep.
Good.
So, and I don't know what we're doing this weekend. Right now, we're kind of playing it by ear just because we want to see how tired Patty is.
I'm thinking naps.
Patty's thinking naps. So we'll see. But anyway, let's get right into these questions because there's some really good questions. So thank you to all of you who submitted questions for this week's episode. So question number 1 comes from our friend Patty Pritchard out in Washington.
Okay.
And Patty wants to know, what kind of summer weather do you prefer? Do you prefer it to be hot and humid like we had this summer, or do you prefer more of the hot and dry like we had last summer out west?
I know what I prefer, and I think it's the same you prefer, hot and dry.
I actually prefer neither. I actually like the weather up in Maine this summer. But if Patty's...
I'll take hot and dry over hot and humid.
Yeah, I would agree with you. If given that option. But Patty, what I really liked was when we got up to Maine this summer, it was actually cool. It was like in the 60s, and I was wearing jeans and my Patagonia, and I had no problems with that.
It was a good break from the hot and humid we had. It was nice. Right. It's weird to think 4th of July you're wearing a North Face winter coat or your Patagonia, but it was nice. It was so pretty. Anyway.
And then, what was it? 2 weeks later, we were in Florida where it was rolling off of your back. So, all right. Good question, though. Alan W. wants to know, why did you get the airbags for the Tundra, and is it because the hitch wasn't working? And the short answer is no. In fact, the Anderson hitch, which at some point I'll get a video out on, after towing 9,000 miles, absolutely love the Anderson hitch.
Worked perfect.
The only reason we put airbags on the Tundra was my friend Todd Rose found a set that was only 6 months used at a camping rally, and he picked them up for me for $50. And in fact, he wouldn't even let me pay them. They were just a gift. And again, thank you to Todd and Carla for those. And so you can never go wrong having airbags. Did I need them? No, but are they a good thing to have? Absolutely. Because that way then, too, if I ever want to go get stone or something, airbags, they don't increase your cargo capacity. They just help you don't have that sag. It's so you don't have the sag. So we did run this weekend with 10 pounds in each airbag and worked great. And so...
Yeah, perfect.
But not required, just something because Todd,
Okay.
Kelly Taylor wants to know, our friend Kelly says, and fellow Hoosier, by the way, what do you do inside your house to prepare for being gone so long?
Not a ton. We just, I always like to leave it clean, even though it does get dirty. But we make sure, like, the patio door is secure, all the windows are locked. We turn off the water to the washer. We set the air or whatever, what time of year
at a moderate temperature. And we also have people either nearby checking on it regularly, or in like last summer, my nephew lived here, and this summer he stayed several times throughout the summer. So that kind of helps too.
We have good neighbors that would
keep an eye out.
Tell us things.
But otherwise, no, not a whole lot. I think the biggest challenge for us was the mail, because the U.S. Postal Service will only hold your mail for 30 days. And so this summer, the way we handled it was Dad and Marilyn came out twice a week and picked it up for us. So... Nice. But that's kind of what we do. So nothing special. Oh, we have to pay somebody to mow the yard while we're gone.
We do make sure that it'd be nice if someone would weed. That's why we're working on that, making it simpler. So,
Larry Hughes has a question. I think I had talked about converting from 50 to 30 amp, and he wanted me to explain what that means to the 50 amp converter, and do you need a 50 amp surge protector to use it? I hope this is what he's talking about. And if not, Larry, let me know and I'll try it again. But I think what you were referring to, I think I made a comment that I didn't take my converter to go from 50 to 30 amp, which is what they refer to as a dog bone. So on one end, you have a 50 amp plug that you would plug into a 50 amp outlet, and then it goes down to a 30 amp, and then you would plug in your 30 amp surge protector, and then you would plug in your 30 amp from your trailer. So you don't need to carry both a 50 amp and a 30 amp surge protector. If your trailer's 30 amp, you carry your 30 amp converter. And like I said, I own that 50 to 30 dog bone. It just did not get put in the trailer. So hopefully that answered the question. So, number 5 question comes from our friend Rodney Sleeth. What do you do if you want to stop and see something like Yale with the camper in tow? What are you going to tell him?
Well, when we went to Yale, we already had the camper somewhere else.
Right.
We dropped it at the Harvest Host. But if that did happen and we didn't have a place to stay yet, we would try to find a place to park that was big and open, like a big parking lot. Because that's what we do, like when we went to Costco and things like that. I would look on Google Maps to see if there was parking for Patrick, and then easy to get in, easy to get out, if there were spaces, and then we would hope there would be open spaces and, like not filled up parking lots.
Yeah.
But that's what we do.
I would say, though, there are times, Rod, that we don't stop because
we have a trailer
in tow. Yeah. But if it's something we really want to and we can plan it out, Google Maps is our best friend because to zoom in on satellite view and look for, is there going to be parking?
Yeah.
So
Yep.
the problem you get into is, like, I would have hated to have the trailer in tow at Yale because it, you know how college campuses are, tight streets, a lot of one-way streets, and it was just, so.
Yeah, it would have been a
good question, though.
Good question.
So
It would have been hectic.
let's see. Whole person wants to know, what were your total miles driven this summer? And it was a little over 9,000 miles.
Oh my god.
Okay. I don't remember the exact total, but it was like 9,234 or something like that. And then a whole person also wants to know, what was your daily average for miles and hours in between locations on days you were locating?
About 6 hours, wasn't it?
We tried to go no more, meaning if we left by 9, I ideally would prefer to be set up by 3.
3, 4. Yeah.
So we tried to stick to maybe 250 miles. Now, obviously, there were some days where they were longer. Yeah,
or shorter.
if we were trying to go from one point to another point, and so those days might have been a little longer. But in general, our rule
in the summer is not to kill it.
I mean, now the rest of the year when we're like Christmas and spring break, we have to book it. So we have some long days, like 12-hour days.
Yeah.
But in the summer, I mean, anything over 4, it's almost like you're starting.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. I mean, seriously, we did 6.
Yeah.
But there were some couple times where I'm like, oh my God, we're not getting in till 5:30, and you would have thought like the world was coming to an end. But it's just in the summer we love that. Being able to
just chill,
and I like getting in early and
not being so late, because I do think riding and driving, it wears on you.
Yeah,
and these two do great too, so we don't always want to overdo with them either. So
good question. Number 7 comes from none other than Mark Milinarski.
Mr. Mark,
what's your favorite place to eat?
I
don't think he said like in life or on the trip.
Yeah, so to pick like what my obsession has been lately, and I haven't had it yet in a long time, is Panda Express. But there are some great restaurants that we've been to. So if you pick a great restaurant,
and then he wanted to know what was your favorite Costco, and I think he maybe it means of any Costco you've ever been to, but
on the trip,
I'd
have to go with Houston. The one we went in Houston area, that's where I started finding all my bargains, Mark. Yeah. So all my good deals on my Orvis shorts and school clothes. And,
That's an interesting question. Your favorite Costco. All right.
We didn't say which one was a little scary.
I was shocked that we found a scary Costco this
And basically,
summer.
I think it's what was happening in the parking lot that we weren't sure of.
Yeah, I think we were both scared. I stayed in the truck.
It was a little leery. And it was a weird parking lot.
It was a weird parking lot. It was like real narrow and long, and I was parked at the back because of having the trailer in tow. And there was like a car in the road or one of the aisles, 2 cars.
Yeah, we were blocking.
And like blocking, I had to back up to get around them, and they stayed there the whole time. And at one point, one car left, and then later came back, and there were people getting in and out of cars, and I wasn't sure if a drug deal was going down. Yeah. But
who knows?
Anyway, all right. Joyce Moses wants to know, what was your favorite state park on the trip?
We went to one state park.
We only went to one state park, so we're going to say that was our favorite.
It had to be Delaware, right?
Yeah, I believe we stayed at Killen's Pond.
That's right.
In Delaware. And honestly, it was a wonderful little state park. It was in the woods. We had electricity. I can't remember if there was water. I think there was water.
I think we did.
They had a dump station.
Air was, because we were starting to get back in the heat.
Yeah. The only thing I would caution people on, I would stay there again, but you really have to pick your site out very carefully because they were small loops,
loop circles,
and lots of trees. So if you were coming in with like a 40-footer, you would want, because some of those sites, the trees, you had to like back it in between trees. Yeah. But there was some sites back there. There were sites that were wide open or more open.
Right.
And there were some big rigs back there.
Yeah, there were.
So we're gonna go with the one and only state park that we stayed at this summer. And then finally, our friend Mobi. Mo. What was the most stressful part of the trip? And by the way, there's multiple parts. Mo has got us on, yeah. So that's part one.
Well, there were a couple or a few that I can think of, but I think the one for me would have been going to get the trailer worked on, and they didn't have the parts. So
I don't know if it was stressful. It was frustrating.
Well, I don't know. Stressful, frustrating.
For me, the most stressful was driving over the George Washington Bridge.
Yeah, that's the other one I was thinking of. Yeah.
That was, I have said that is the absolute worst towing experience I've ever had. Like,
well, just trying to get around New York City was enough, just trying. But going.
I mean, we've been everywhere. I mean, anybody that's followed this channel for any length of time knows. Even before we had the channel, we used to take our 35-foot fifth wheel and go to everywhere. Key West, and I'd have to drive down through, Miami and through Orlando and.
Boston was easy compared to what we had.
Atlanta was like child's play coming home.
And usually Atlanta's kind of struggling. So
all right, what was an item you wish you had brought or left behind?
I can think of one thing to leave behind.
Okay.
I think we used about everything we brought because we talked about that a lot. Like, how do we do it? I think we did
I
pretty
think
well.
Everything that we packed. I'm trying to remember, but I think for the most part, everything we packed did get used at least once.
But I'm thinking the stroller for these guys.
Yeah.
It was used for our bike. It's bigger. We did use it in Acadia, but we
used it once. It's too much.
It's kind of big. It's too wide. It
took too long to put together, too long to tear down.
Well, and where you had to put it in the truck to store, you had to move things out. I don't think we need it. I think these two did well at different places when we didn't have them in the stroller. They have to learn, how to behave around others.
The dryer's the other thing. I wouldn't bring the dryer.
I wouldn't bring the dryer.
I would take the dryer if I'm winter camping.
Yep.
But summer camping, it's too hot to run that thing inside. And it creates too much humidity.
Hot, and then when it's humid out, it takes forever to dry.
Yeah.
So no.
And as far as did we leave anything behind, I don't know that there really was. There's always things where you're like, the day you really want some ice and you don't have any ice, you're thinking, why didn't I bring the ice maker? But if we'd brought the ice maker, it wouldn't have hardly gotten used, So
I think we did well.
Yeah.
So.
I think the thing we didn't use as much as I thought we would was the Instant Pot.
Yeah, we did not use it as much as we had in the past.
We might have used it twice.
I think this trip was a little different.
Yeah.
So
we ate out a lot.
Well, I think we were trying new things, and we had people we met up with, and we were trying foods, and
This is that was only part two. Here we go. Mo's got us on. What place exceeded your expectations and which did not? Exceeded your expectations.
Well, I guess Yale. Yale was pretty amazing.
Yeah, I would say, and the thing was, I don't know that I think I did have we didn't even know we were going there.
Sure it was a cool college.
And honestly, when Patty said she wanted to go there, I was like, that's fine. I was thinking we just drive around. And I was like, well, if she wants to park. I'll be honest, I was blown. Just the architecture was absolutely gorgeous. Those old buildings, and there's a lot of history there. So that was a pretty cool one. Obviously, my favorite thing from the whole trip.
Yeah, this was
going to the soccer match. And I don't know if it did exceed. Even though I had it like on a really high.
It was so much fun.
Yeah. So
they won. We had great seats. The temperature cooled off.
Right.
It just was so much fun.
Day.
Yeah.
What about things that maybe didn't exceed your expectations, like you were kind of let down?
I guess the first day going to Disney, how the magic bands weren't connected.
Yeah, I would say Disney in general maybe didn't exceed. I enjoyed camping there. Like the Food and Wine Festival was something I always wanted to do, but it honestly really wasn't fun at all because it was so beastly hot.
Yeah.
That by the time you get to the back of Epcot where the food you're drenched and then you don't even want to eat. So
luckily we found some pavilions that were air conditioning that you could sit in, but yeah.
And I'll be honest, one thing that I think we both agree, and you guys can tell us we're wrong, but we've been to Cape Hatteras twice now, or the Outer Banks, and it's just not a place that really gets me excited. So. And then finally, to wrap this video up, what was the best scenic trip between locations? And I think he means like, what was your favorite drive?
I think I would have to go because it was something new. It would be from Booth Bay Harbor, our trip up to Acadia. So
that was kind of cool, going through those little towns like Camden. The other one was quite fascinating. Was driving through Louisiana and seeing roadkill that I've never seen before, like alligators.
Oh yeah. The one where I can throw in going through Arkansas and seeing the rice fields. I didn't know they did rice.
I wouldn't call them scenic. I don't know if you call it looking at rice, but it was
interesting.
But it was interesting because we'd never done it.
Right.
I mean, in terms of just pure beauty,
you're going to get the mountains in New Hampshire.
Yeah, New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine. That area is gorgeous. So
lush green trees, yeah. Pretty.
So there you go. It's a little bit of a long video, but I think we got everybody's questions. And again, I apologize if you would ask a question and we didn't get it. Please type that question again, just all caps question. Write it, and I will get to it next week. So, all right, Patty. I think that's going to do it. Truman finally jumped up here to join us.
Little B's tired.
Bess is a little tired, and so. Until next week, everybody, have a really safe and enjoyable weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye. Say bye, guys.